Hey, welcome to part 15, possibly the last part of Mass Effect 1 with the texture mod. Um, Tomorrow, hopefully, I will have enough to purchase all the DLC passed for Mass Effect 2, so I can jump right into it. Also try and find some possible mods for textures and lighting and stuff to make that look even nicer. Maybe. But anyway, I just want to talk a little bit about, as this is the first stream of the day, and possibly the only stream unless I decide to take a break in between, about the whole situation with the Normandy being grounded at a citadel. It's really hard to. I'm not sure I particularly care for the way that unfolds, and I think a key part of that, of why it kind of pisses me off a bit, might be to do with the fact that we just we have throughout the game, to varying degrees, admittedly, options that allow us to intimidate or persuade, based on our intimidate and charm skills. And there's no way to really intimidate or charm your way out of this situation. Now, granted, I can understand, to some extent at least, the council not wanting to send a fleet into the terminus system. We don't hear a whole lot about the terminus system, but it's clear that it's a delicate situation, and it would not be a good idea to send a Citadel fleet right into terminus space, because that's going to create a major incident. So I can understand that. Now, of course, Shepard's suggestion of using the Normandy is perfectly reasonable. And the fact of the matter is that as a Spectre, one, she has the freedom to do this sort of thing. It mentioned just a little bit before that she can exercise her own judgment. There's not a whole lot of oversight over the Spectres, and I think that also makes it a very interesting situation if she goes out and does this, because technically speaking, just solely with her being a Spectre, solely based on the fact that she's a Spectre, she could go out into the terminus system, and also she has probably the most stealthy spacecraft in the galaxy right now with the Normandy. So the chances of her getting caught are very, especially as being a single ship and it has this stealth capability, are relatively low to begin with. So there's that. But even if she is, the council has plausible deniability, because they give their Spectres they're kind of in some ways perfect operatives, because their freedom, the freedom that they're allowed, gives the council plausible deniability. They can basically claim at least that if their Spectre gets caught doing something, they can be like, well, we had no, this was entirely Shepard's idea. We did not mandate her to do this. We did not. This is not done on our orders. We can say that no matter what they do. Even if by chance that they advised them to do this, or in some way ordered them to do it, they can say they didn't, and there would be, in most cases, no one to contradict them, because and no way to even consider. I mean, there may be a little bit of iffiness with it, depending on the scale of what they're doing. But generally speaking, they can say oh, we had nothing to do with that. That was just they're acting on their own, and they're allowed to do so. But and if need be, a Spectre might be thrown under the bus in that regard, um, for doing their job. Um, but at the same time, I don't know, like they have some way to do that. Of course, that said, also, with what happened with Saren, that's kind of a whole other thing, because that they don't want to look bad, you know. But that's like a Spectre going completely and entirely rogue, you know, and effectively trying to destroy the galaxy in a manner of speaking. Um, which might bring me to my next point, which is the Reaper threat and convincing the Council of the Reaper threat. This is a plot that goes through, or a thread of things that goes through both this game and, spoilers, to some extent, the second game. Um, they're denying the Reaper threat. And it wears thin in this game particularly, because this is like Batman v Superman, except maybe even better implied, because like it's not even just the chance of the Earth, it's not even like the Earth is at stake, it's the entire freaking galaxy. For one, and for another thing, it's not just one man with superpowers. It's that we already kind of like Superman is one man with superpowers who has thus far demonstrated himself to be good, to be on our side. So, saying like, basically the logic is, if there's the slightest chance of the Reapers being real and an actual threat to the galaxy, we must take it as an absolute certainty. You know, whereas with Superman, it's kind of like, well, yeah, he has the power to potentially destroy the entire world with his superpowers. But like, we, yeah, I mean, there's no real evidence per se that he is going to be making himself a threat. There's no indication whatsoever that he's going to be making himself a threat. With Reapers, like, their history, everything we know about them says that their goal is to destroy all organic life in the galaxy, or at least all organic life that has reached a certain level of technology. Let me get a little ahead of myself plot wise, but there's a um there's hints of that anyway. Um, it's being alluded to anyway. So, I can get them doubting Saren. I said this before. I can get them doubting Saren because it's one eyewitness testimony. It's not even us who saw this happen. So, it's a combination of the eyewitness testimony of one person and Captain Anderson's instincts, which are based on maybe some degree of prejudice, but also, I mean, it's prejudice in general. Like, you gotta be prejudiced against Arturians in general, but he's definitely prejudiced against Saren because Saren ruined his shot of becoming a Spectre. So, there's that. Saren definitely has something of a reputation for being ruthless. As do we, but in a different way. But yeah, like, that was, we got into that. Okay, he's one of their top operatives, and there is really substantial evidence. The moment we present them some substantial evidence, they take it at face value. They don't even really question whether or not it could have been fabricated, which, maybe they should, but thankfully they don't, so it's not like drawn out endlessly. But grant the Reapers are also our depth in a way, but it comes not just from ourselves, but myself, who is a specter. So we have a lot more credibility. We should have a little more credibility at this point. That they entrusted us with this much power, and at least two other people saw a hologram of a Reaper talking to us. We didn't actually see it in person talking to us, but we saw a hologram of it. And the thing is, it was all just an elaborate deception on the part of Saren. Like, to what end is he doing this deception? Like, the conduit's not real? Like, I mean, I don't know. Like, they're like, first the council trusts Saren a whole lot, and now when Saren is telling us about the Reapers, they don't trust him at all. Like, I don't know. Like, it and like, if he's trying to destroy or attack the Citadel, to what end is he doing that? Like, does he just want power? Like, why does he want power? Like, he was a Spectre. The council trusted him enough to give him that much power. And I don't know. Like, it just really bugs me that they draw this whole thing of the council not trusting you out to such an extent, and they don't really give you any opportunities to use your own skills that you build up of charm and intimidation to some extent to convince them. Because the plot demands that there be this tension between the player character, between Shepard and the council, between humanity and the council. This is a big thematic thing, so they're not going to ruin it by giving you choices that affect that conflict. They're not even going to, they want to have their big Star Trek 3 moment where they break the ship out of space dock. Like that, they want that moment to be there, so they don't give you any options that allow you to get yourself out of that situation diplomatically, as it were. Now, so the Reaper threat, like, you had to, something like this, where there's a fair amount of evidence, and a lot of it, is visions and also just seeing one in person, and maybe it could all be a elaborate deception by Saren, but to what end? And two, if there's even the slightest chance that the Reapers are real, and they're really the beings who 50,000 years ago or however long ago wiped out an entire advanced alien civilization. Do you want to risk that this is all just a ruse? This is all just manipulation on the part of Saren? Like, the entire galaxy is at stake, potentially. If this threat is real. So, yeah. I've been going back to the plausible deniability that the council could have if Shepard would be caught. The other problem, which I think is the reason why Udina specifically is the one who seems to be responsible for grounding the Normandy. It may be that the Alliance may not feel as strongly about them having plausible deniability. Because Shepard is still technically an Alliance officer, and the Normandy is still technically an Alliance ship. And heck, if that ship gets captured, and it's also a very valuable Alliance ship that was given with the Alliance's blessing, so they kind of have every right to ground the Normandy. Maybe the council can pull some strings and get it, with the brass at the Alliance, but um, it may be unlikely. I don't know. You know, that they they have authority in so much that uh, the humans are technically they're not like in the council, but they're they have an embassy and anything. Um, but yeah, as they don't want the shit to get potentially captured in the terminal system, um, I don't know, like that actually kind of makes sense. Um, but it is kind of the only ship that can handle that kind of mission and do it stealthily. Um, but it's a shame that you're not given any kind of real diplomatic option. You had to pull the Star Trek free, and the answer is no. Therefore, we're gonna do it anyway. Um, but it's kind of bugged me that we can't actually talk our way through this. We have no diplomatic way of doing it. But I do like Ordina getting punched in the face. So there's that. But anyway, that is all I had to say. Like the situation kind of makes sense when I think through it, but I also like I wish we could have actually had that line. Maybe even like if there's the slightest chance of the Reapers being a real actual threat, we had to treat it as a certainty. Even though we'd be completely paraphrasing Batman, but or Batfleck or whatever you would call him. But it's actually like I said, it's more apt here. Also, I just want to mention that my last episode I did had 10 viewers, which is a record for this particular um, streaming series. And at first I was like kind of weird because I was only going to get 1 or 2 viewers per stream. And I realized it was Tuesday. And what game came out on Tuesday? Anthem. Made by what company? BioWare. What kind of reviews did it get? Not that great. So there are probably a lot of people who just are waxing nostalgic for a good BioWare game. And welcome to the show. I don't think I'm gonna be playing Anthem anytime soon because, well, one, I haven't heard good things about it, and two, I'm not really into multiplayer games. And again, I think I said this before, but I'm not sure I've said it during that particular stream. But I think a game like Anthem could benefit from having a single player mode. And again, I think there's 2 reasons for this. One is that they get whenever they inevitably, like maybe a decade from now or however long from now, they inevitably shut down the servers. And who knows, it could be happening sooner rather than later. But I doubt that because, there are probably enough people who bought it that EA is going to be making some amount of money from it, and they're going to look really bad if they shut it down. People bought the game, and now they literally cannot play it, like a year later. That they could be inviting lawsuits, potentially. I'm not sure what kind of legal precedent there is for that, but there's a game you expect to be able to play for at least a few years from when you buy it. Now you have a game, and like a year or however long later, you're just not able to play it because it didn't sell well, it wasn't well received. Like, I think you can still play the original Destiny at this point. Even though that game didn't do very well. But anyway, this game, games like Dakota, but even Borderlands. Like, Borderlands is probably the only multiplayer, like, looter shooter, whatever you want to call it, that actually worked. And it was like one of the very first ones. And no one has ever been able to actually replicate it. And it has the ability to play it single player, offline. Duh! Do that. Give you, because like, again, I need to like reiterate this because I don't think I made it clear, at least this time around. One, longevity of the game. 2, there's something of a problem when you make a game that can appeal to single player type players. that where they like in a lot of the interviews and build up the game, they're like, oh, like you can if you don't want to play with others, you can just do this on your own. It will be fine. The game is balanced and it adjusts the difficulty to account for whether or not you have a group of people or you're solo or I don't know, like there's something in the game design that accounts for that and allows that to work to one degree or another. Well, the problem there is that you have a bunch of people on your server who don't care about the multiplayer aspect. They're just running around doing their own thing, clearing enemies ahead of other players who are maybe wanting to cooperate as a team, clearing enemies ahead of people who are actually also wanting to play only single player. And kind of disrupting experience for people who maybe want to play a different way, or or what have you. And if you have a bunch of players on your server who don't want to play multiplayer, then that's putting a load on your server that you don't really need to have. And it's also just messing in a subtle way with the people who do want to play multiplayer. Maybe there may be people who, if you had a multiplayer mode and a non-multiplayer mode, then when you go into multiplayer mode, you can if you don't have like many friends who also own the game, or if they're not online or whatever, like you could still you might be a little more open knowing that there is a single player mode and everyone in the multiplayer mode wants to play multiplayer, or nearly everyone in the multiplayer mode wants to play multiplayer at least. You could be a little more confident, like just going up to another player and say, hey, like, want to form a team? And do some missions, like you can do that. Whereas like, when you have a bunch of people who want to play solo going around, you don't know if the person, at least I guess from my own, I mean, granted, I have my own social awkwardness, so some people might be more willing, and then to just go up to random people in a multiplayer shooter type game and be like, hey, like, want to form a team? Want to team up? I don't know. But yeah, like it's a way to compartmentalize people who only want the single player experience, who only really want to play it solo, from the people who, I mean, granted, it prevents the multiplayer from feeling like a core element of the game, or from actually being a core element of the game. But I can argue about probably a lot of the multiplayer games that I've, if you're advertising at least on, or publicizing the idea that like, oh, you can play it solo if you want, like, then you might as well make if it's not that essential to the gameplay that you team up with people. I mean, I guess there's the idea of raids, I guess, which might be missions that are designed specifically for groups of players to go on. I mean, even then, like, you could make it into like maybe if you don't want to cut that content out completely from even the single player mode, then you could make a single player mode, and then like the actual raids still require you to do multiplayer, but it's just like matchmaking basically. It'll be a matchmaking mode sort of, between you and that, and like the rest of the experience is entirely single player. If you're like gonna rebalance, if you want the raids or whatever to be like the core of the multiplayer experience or something like that, like really honed for multiplayer, and there's almost no way you can do it with just one player, then hey, like, make those into kind of their own compartmentalized things. So if you're in single player mode, like, you can do raids, you just have to, you can, there's gonna be a little bit of a separate entity, I guess. I mean, something that they're already a separate entity even in the multiplayer mode, where you can run into other players in the world, within the world. I don't know, but yeah, I think it's a good solution to this kind of problems. And again, it makes the game playable even after you shut down the servers. in a form after a fashion. And of course, you still have to have access to all the passions. But yeah. Anyway, let's. It's almost been half an hour. I think everyone who wants to tune in is either tuning in or has tuned out because all they're seeing is me talking and rambling about things. Um, yeah, we can't land back at the Citadel. Didn't think we could. Okay, so we're gonna go see if there's any things we can scan or survey. Like, there's just free planets in the system. Hylos, we look at this. In the golden age of the Protheans, Hylos was a verdant world, dotted with spires and arches of magnificent cities. Even casual observation shows this is no longer the case. Hylos has been devastated by means unknown. Its entire surface changed to the color of rust. The atmosphere shows heightened levels of oxygen. Wildfires, presumably ignited by lightning strikes, can be seen burning on the dark side. This indicates that most, if not all, respirating animal life forms have died off. Surface gravity is a comfortable 1.17 standard Gs.
Shepard, may I speak with you?
I'm busy. No.
I always have time for you, Liara.
I do not know what is going to happen on Ilos. I hope we will stop Saren, of course, but part of me fears we are already too late. There is something I must tell you, in case we fail.
I don't plan on failing.
Please, I am not looking for comfort. Saren might already have the conduit. It is time to be completely honest with each other. These could be our last moments together. Our last chance to show each other how we feel. I want this to be special.
I want this, Liara. I do. But are you sure you're ready?
I have never been more sure of anything in my life. Will you join with me, Shepard? Let our bodies and minds unite.
Oh, forget.
I thought you'd never ask.
incredible, Shepard.
That was remarkably PG-13.
Ready for round 2?
Commander,
5 minutes ETA to the MEU relay.
I had better go. Duty calls. You would not want to keep Joker waiting. Shepard, whatever happens on Ilos, I just wanted to say thank you for everything.
Commander? We've got company.
Have their sensors picked us up yet?
Stealth systems are engaged. Unless we get close enough for a visual, they won't have any idea we're here.
Picking up some strange readings from the planet's surface.
Take us down, Joker. Lock in on the coordinates.
Negative on that, Commander. The nearest landing zone's 2 clicks away.
We'll never make it in time on foot. Get us something closer.
There is nowhere closer. I've looked.
Drop us in the Mako.
You need at least 100 meters of open terrain to pull off a drop like that. The most I can find near Sarin is 20.
20 meters? No way we can make a drop in there.
We have to try.
Find another landing zone.
There is no other landing zone.
The descent angle's too steep.
It's our only option.
Well, we pull off.
Not an option. It's a suicide run. We don't.
The Mako's taking bigger falls than that.
I can do
Trust me.
Gear up and head down to the Mako. Joker, drop us right on top of that bastard.
I don't have any text strength whatsoever, though. We take our standard team. I don't know, we should maybe get... Get more text strength and combat strength. Garrus hasn't got enough screen time. Plus, this is kind of the Kirk, Spock, and McCoy of Mass Effect. Spoilers are the only free characters who are party members in every free game, in all free games.
You two, keep moving inside now.
Finally, some action. We have to get inside this bunker before Saren finds the conduit. There's no way we're getting past that door with brute force.
Saren found a way to open it. There must be some kind of security override somewhere in this complex.
We'll have to find some way to get it up and running again.
Also, why am I not? Will lift work on? Let's try warp. I think it's both to affect our shields? Whatever it is, it has to come after us. Okay. Oh, okay, it's around this way.
Negative contacts, Commander.
Might be progress? That's an elevator, okay. This is like getting a little too nonlinear.
We're good, Commander.
Area secure.
That's interesting. Are these supposed to be a representative of, like we know from Mass Effect 3, this is not what the Protheans look like. It could be something like the engineers were like, oh, this is just a face mask. Hmm. There we go. There's a rather nice atmospheric music here. Any loot over here? There's a plain old dead end.
Take out those hostiles! Not now, Shepard!
Take out those hostiles!
Okay. If the hostiles are too close to. I'm at front too far. Yeah. Okay, it's either too close or too far.
Think we got him, Commander.
There are secrets here that were meant to be forgotten. This place feels wrong to me, and not just because of the Geth.
We shouldn't be here. Not us, not the Geth, not Seren. My people once tried to find this world. We'd hoped we could settle here, but we didn't know it would feel so unwelcome.
Come on. It's literally just a dead end. Yep. I even have a door here. Finally, working elevator.
This place still has power. Must be running off its own generator.
I bet this is the command center for the entire complex. Saren's troops must have sealed the doors from here after he went inside. We'll have to figure out how to disengage the security lockdown if we ever want to get inside that bunker. Take cover! All targets down.
Is it on our side? Finally, an actual like 9-level thing.
Come on. Saren's already got a head start. We have to go find him before he reaches the conduit.
Unless he's already found it, then we're just walking into a trap.
That's a chance we'll have to take.
Hold on. Something's happening.
Too late. Unable to... Invading fleets. No escape.
Sounds like some kind of message, but I don't recognize the language.
It's probably in Prothean. This recording must be 50,000 years old. No wonder we can't understand it.
The message is all broken up, but I recognize some of the words. It's a warning against the Reaper invasion.
Incredible! The cipher must have transferred an understanding of the Prothean language into your mind.
Not safe.
What's it saying? Can you make out anything useful?
Fought Reapers. The Citadel. Overwhelmed. Only hope.
Obi-Wan Kenobi, he's our only hope.
Act of desperation. The conduit. All is lost.
It said something about the conduit, but it's too degraded to help. We should go.
I should go.
Cannot be stopped.
And we're gonna have another firefight here. Archers might be helping us. If so, we'll let's see. Yeah, too hard. I'm getting terrible at this. Gets me some XPs anyway. Huh. I kinda wish there was another battle so I could see what good repairing those armatures would be. What? Okay. Oh, there's another. Miss Sorry died. In our thinking that we were gonna backtrack. At least we got some XPs out of hacking his consoles.
probably tried to keep themselves alive through cryogenic freezing. Something must have gone wrong, though. This bunker became their tomb.
They actually established
What's happening?
It's a trap. Sarah must have set an ambush.
I don't think Saren's behind this.
visual.
You are not Prothean, but you are not machine either. This eventuality was one of many that was anticipated. This is why we sent our warning through the beacons.
Looks like some kind of VI program. Pretty badly damaged.
I do not sense the taint of indoctrination upon any of you. Unlike the other that passed recently, perhaps there is still hope.
Wait a minute. How come I can understand you? Why aren't you speaking the Prothean language?
I have been monitoring your communications since you arrived at this facility. I have translated my output into a format you will comprehend. My name is Vigil. You are safe here for the moment, but that is likely to change. Soon, nowhere will be safe.
Are you some kind of artificial intelligence program?
I am an advanced non-organic analysis system, with personality imprints from Kesad Aishan, Chief Overseer of the Ilos Research Facility.
Why did you bring me here?
You must break a cycle that has continued for millions of years. But to stop it, you must understand, or you will make the same mistakes we did. The Citadel is the heart of your civilization and the seat of government, as it was with us, and as it has been with every civilization that came before us. But the Citadel is a trap. The station
It's a
is
trap!
actually an enormous mass relay, one that links to dark space, the empty void beyond the galaxy's horizon. When the Citadel relay is activated, the Reapers will pour through, and all you know will be destroyed.
How come nobody ever noticed the Citadel was an inactive mass relay?
The Reapers are careful to keep the greatest secrets of the Citadel hidden. That is why they created a species of seemingly benign organic caretakers. The Keepers maintain the station's most basic functions. They enable any species that discovers the Citadel to use it without fully understanding the technology. Reliance on the Keepers ensures no other species will ever discover the Citadel's true nature. Not until the relay is activated and the Reapers invade.
How do the Reapers survive out in dark space?
We have only theories. The researchers here came to believe the Reapers enter prolonged states of inactivity to conserve energy. This allows them to survive the thousands and thousands of years it takes for organic civilization to rebuild itself. But in this state, they are vulnerable. By retreating beyond the edges of the galaxy, they ensure no one will accidentally discover them. They keep their existence hidden until the Citadel relay is activated.
The Reapers can wipe out the Council and the entire Citadel fleet in a single surprise attack.
That was our fate. Our leaders were dead before we even realized we were under attack. The Reapers seized control of the Citadel, and through it, the mass relays. Communication and transportation across our empire were crippled. Each star system was isolated, cut off from the others. Easy prey for the Reaper fleets. Over the next decades, the Reapers systematically obliterated our people. World by world, system by system, they methodically wiped us out.
The war was lost. If you'd surrendered, they might have let you live.
No offer of surrender was ever given. Our enemy had a single goal: the extinction of all advanced organic life. Through the Citadel, the Reapers had access to all our records, maps, census data. Information is power, and they knew everything about us. Their fleets advanced across every settled region of the galaxy. Some worlds were utterly destroyed. Others were conquered, their populations enslaved. These indoctrinated servants became sleeper agents under Reaper control. Taken in as refugees by other Protheans, they betrayed them to the machines. Within a few centuries, the Reapers had killed or enslaved every Prothean in the galaxy. They were relentless, brutal, and absolutely thorough.
What do the Reapers get out of this? Why do they keep repeating this pattern of genocide over and over?
The Reapers are alien, unknowable. Perhaps they need slaves or resources. More likely they are driven by motives and goals organic beings cannot hope to comprehend. In the end, what does it matter? Your survival depends on stopping them, not in understanding them.
I don't understand. Where did the Reapers go after they conquered your people?
Our worlds were stripped bare, harvested by the indoctrinated slaves. Everything of value, all resources, all technology was taken. Certain that all advanced organic life had been extinguished, the Reapers retreated back through the Citadel relay into dark space, sealing it behind them. All evidence of the Reaper invasion had been wiped away. Only their indoctrinated slaves were left behind, abandoned. Mindless husks, no longer capable of independent thought, the indoctrinated soon starved or died of exposure. The genocide of the Protheans was complete.
You said you brought me here for a reason. Tell me what I need to do.
The conduit is the key. Before the Reapers attacked, we Protheans were on the cusp of unlocking the mysteries behind mass relay technology. Ilos was a top-secret facility. Here, researchers worked to create a small-scale version of a mass relay, one that linked directly to the Citadel, the hub of the relay network.
Conduit's not a weapon. It's a backdoor onto the Citadel.
How did you manage to stay hidden?
All official records of our project were destroyed in the initial attack on the Citadel. While the Prothean Empire came crashing down, Ilos was spared. We severed all communication with the outside, and our facility went dark. The personnel retreated underground into these archives. To conserve resources, everyone was put into cryogenic stasis. I was programmed to monitor the facility and wake the staff when the danger had passed. But the genocide of an entire species is a long, slow process. Years passed, decades, centuries. The Reapers persisted, and my energy reserves were dwindling.
How did you survive?
I began to disable the life support of non-essential personnel. First support staff, then security. One by one, their pods were shut down to conserve energy. Eventually, only the stasis pods of the top scientists remained active. Even these were in danger of failing when the Reapers finally retreated back through the Citadel relay.
There were hundreds of stasis pods out there. You just shut them down? You killed them?
I'm not sure at this point would she be saying it was necessary.
He couldn't let everyone die. Better to sacrifice some so others could live.
This outcome was not completely unforeseen. My actions were a result of contingency programming entered on my creation.
I bet they didn't tell the non-essential staff about this contingency.
I saved key personnel. When the Reapers retreated, the top researchers were still alive. My actions are the only reason any hope remains. When the researchers woke, they realized the Prothean species was doomed. There were only a dozen individuals left, far too few to sustain a viable population. Yet they vowed to find some way to stop the Reapers from returning. A way to break the cycle forever. And they knew the Keepers were the key.
I still don't understand what's going on here. Why is Saren trying to find the conduit?
The conduit gives him access to the Citadel and the Keepers. The Keepers are controlled by the Citadel. Before each invasion, a signal is sent through the station compelling the Keepers to activate the Citadel relay. After decades of feverish study, the scientists discovered a way to alter this signal. Using the conduit, they gained access to the Citadel and made the modifications. This time, when Sovereign sent the signal to the Citadel, the Keepers ignored it. The Reapers are trapped in dark space.
Saren can use the conduit to bypass all the Citadel's external defenses.
Correct. And once inside, he can transfer control of the station to Sovereign. Sovereign will override the Citadel systems and manually open the relay. And the cycle of extinction will begin again.
I'll take Sovereign down. Somehow.
There's a data file in my console. Take a copy when you go. When you reach the Citadel's master control unit, upload it to the station. It will corrupt the Citadel's security protocols and give you temporary control of the station. It might give you a chance against Sovereign.
Wait. Where's the Citadel's master control unit? I've never heard of anything like that.
Through the conduit, follow Saren. He will lead you to your destination.
If the Reapers are trapped in dark space, how did Sovereign get here?
It is logical to assume the Reapers would leave one of their own behind after each extinction. A sentinel to pave the way for their inevitable return. Like those in dark space, Sovereign probably spent most of the last 50,000 years in a state of hibernation. Periodically, it would wake to analyze the situation. Keeping its existence hidden, it would evaluate the state of galactic civilization. And when the time was right, it would signal the Citadel and usher in the next Reaper invasion. But this time the signal failed. The Keepers did not respond. Sovereign's allies were trapped in the void. Alone, it was forced to try and discover what had gone wrong.
Sovereign's the largest ship in the galaxy. Why all this secret? Why not just attack the Citadel?
Sovereign is not invincible. Revealing its true nature would have united the forces of every organic species against it. Even a Reaper couldn't survive such odds. But the Reapers are patient. They will not rush into the unknown. Sovereign could have been planning this for centuries, moving deliberately, gathering allies. Slowly, it has assembled the pieces of the puzzle, working through agents to keep itself hidden. Saren is the most visible pawn of the Reapers, but I doubt he was the first. Now Sovereign has grown bold. Whether from confidence or desperation, I cannot say. But it is determined to reopen the portal to dark space.
What about the beacon on Eden Prime? And the one on Vermeer? What were they for?
At our apex, the beacons spanned the breadth of our empire. We use them as a single galaxy-wide network to transmit data and communications rapidly from world to world. Virtually all the beacons were destroyed during the invasion, but once the Reapers were gone, the survivors here on Ilos decided to risk sending out a message. We knew it was unlikely there were other survivors, but if there were, we wanted them to know about Ilos. We wanted to give them hope, so a message was sent across the network.
You could have exposed yourself to the Reapers.
In truth, we didn't expect any of the beacons would still function, but we had to try. If there were survivors, we had to reach them. The message was meant for our own people. It was coded so only organic beings could interpret it. We still didn't understand the power of Reaper indoctrination. We never realized it could lead an agent of the machines, like Saren, to this world. But it has also led you here. So perhaps we did not fail after all.
So when the Reapers created the Citadel, they created the Keepers as well?
A more likely scenario is that the Keepers were one of the early harvested civilizations. Perhaps the very first. Perhaps they responded well to indoctrination, or the Reapers simply bred them to be obedient. In any case, they were left behind to operate and maintain the Citadel. But the Keepers are no longer directly controlled by Sovereign or its ilk. They evolved so that they only respond to the signals emitted by the Citadel itself. When the Protheans altered the Citadel's signals, they broke Sovereign's hold over the Keepers. Now, they are completely harmless.
Sovereign must have realized organic races were difficult to control.
A likely hypothesis. The Keepers evolved in an unanticipated direction. Non-organic servants like the Geth would be more predictable.
What happened to the survivors from the Conduit project?
They used the conduit to gain access to the Citadel, but the conduit is only a prototype. The portal only links in one direction, so they were trapped on the station. I do not know what became of them then. It is unlikely they found any food or water on the station. I fear they suffered a slow, grim death. I only know they succeeded in their mission to seal the relay. Your presence here proves their sacrifice was not in vain.
Saren's got enough of a head start. Grab that data file and let's go.
The one you call Saren has not reached the conduit. Not yet. There is still hope if you hurry.
Our scientific curiosity is cost us a great deal of time. In theory. In practice, probably not.
The Protheans did not fail. It falls to us to make the most of it. So I suggest we hurry.
I could just shoot down the fucking missiles.
There! The conduit! It's incredible.
We don't have time to admire the view. We have to get through that relay, and these Geth aren't gonna make it easy on us.
I have time to.
Activate the defenses! Seal the station! The arms aren't moving. Systems not responding. Abandon the Citadel! Evacuate the Council! Citadel Control! Citadel Control, do you copy?
I wish we had like a nitro or something.
Critical failures detected across all monitored systems. Please begin emergency evacuation. Presidium is experiencing severe system malfunctions across the entire level. All non-emergency personnel must evacuate immediately.
Give me a rundown of the damage.
We have lost all primary power to the level. Environmental controls are not responding. Class 3 fires are burning in sectors 2, 3, 6, and 7. Civilian casualties are high. I am also detecting numerous unauthorized synthetic life forms throughout the station. They are believed to be hostile. Please approach with caution.
What happened to the Council?
In accordance with standard emergency procedures, the Council has been evacuated to the Destiny Ascension.
What about Captain Anderson and Ambassador Udina? What happened to them?
I have no information on the status of specific individuals. Once the current crisis has been resolved, a complete accounting of casualties and survivors will begin.
Where's Saren?
Former Spectre agent Saren Arturius is nearing the vicinity of the Council chamber. A warrant has been issued for his arrest, though Citadel security is unable to respond at this time.
Come on! We need to stop Saren before it's too late!
Please begin emergency evacuation procedures.
at the enemy ships inside the arms.
Insert tab A.
Saren's locked the elevator. Suit up. We're going outside.
Well, hey Yuki, how you doing? I actually leveled up twice. I don't really need that right now.
I was afraid you wouldn't make it in time, Shepard.
Had to wipe out a few hundred of your followers along the way. Sorry if I kept you waiting.
You've lost. You know that, don't you? In a few minutes, Sovereign will have full control of all the Citadel systems. The relay will open. The Reapers will return.
I'm heading to that master control panel and you can't stop me.
You survived our encounter on Vermeer, but I've changed since then. Improved. Sovereign has upgraded me.
Fancy hardware's not gonna save you.
You don't understand, Shepard. There is a place for organics in the New Order. The Reapers need men and women of action. People like us. Sovereign recognizes your value. You've impressed it. Surrender to the Reapers, and you will be spared. Join us, and we can find a place for you.
Sovereign's controlling you through your implants. Don't you see that?
The relationship is symbiotic, organic and machine intertwined, a union of flesh and steel. The strengths of both, the
What? Do I need to like level up like 1,000 more times to even access these things? Or do I not have enough of maybe it's just a matter of like I don't have enough points in it's possible like they're renegade Paragon since I didn't go full renegade or full Paragon, which again I'm maybe like the third option is the result of me being in the middle. I don't know.
I'd rather die than live like that.
Then you will die. And your companions. Everyone you know and love. Everyone you've ever met. Don't you understand? You will all die. The Reapers can't be stopped. Not by the Protheans. Not by you. The cycle always continues.
Sovereign's controlling you through your implants. Don't you see that?
Are we talking circles now?
The relationship is symbiotic.
Okay.
Organic and
We're talking in circles. That shouldn't even be possible.
flesh and steel. The strengths of both, the weaknesses of neither. I am a vision of
But
the
they're sort of
future.
penalizing me, it feels like.
All organic life.
Shut up, Saren. They're penalizing, like, if these options would work to stop him, then they're penalizing me for role-playing. They're penalizing me for taking the middle ground, or, you know, creating a character who's kind of a little bit of both. And that's not really quite fair. They'll betray you, we can beat them. Like, we had to take a stance on either side rather than going down the middle. And she is really ultimately more renegade than Paragon, like, to some extent, in some ways. Like, she's not even wishy-washy. She's kind of... She's human. She's a mix of both. So, I feel like if either of these options... Because I know that there's an option that basically convinces him to stop. Although I think it might be after, like, a first stage of the boss fight. So it's possible it's still coming, so maybe I'm spoiling that. I won't spoil exactly what happens. But if either of these are that, bullshit. Bullshit BioWare. Like, if you have, like, it could be a matter of having high enough, you know, skill points in Intimidate or Persuade, but do not lock out the option because I role-played my character a certain way.
No more stalling, Saren. Let's finish this.
You should have joined Sovereign when you had the chance.
Okay, let me see here. Already? Did he cause it to overheat? Okay, yeah. I'm pretty sure we were denied that option, which is bullshit. Or maybe not, I don't know. Hey, I think we're... at least the boss fight itself was simply on our difficulty level, but... Yeah, like, for what I recall, unless there's something else here... Which there might be. This could be like a...
Vigil's last data file worked. I've got control of all systems.
Quick, open the station's arms. Maybe the fleet can take Sovereign down.
See if you can open a communications channel.
The Destiny Ascension. Main drives offline. Kinetic barriers down 40%. The Council is on board. I repeat, the Council is on board.
Normandy to the Citadel. Normandy to the Citadel. Please tell me that's you, Commander.
You were expecting someone else?
We caught that distress call, Commander. I'm sitting here in the Endura sector with the entire Arcturus fleet. We can save the Ascension. Just unlock the relays around the Citadel and we'll send the cavalry in.
Are you sure about this, Shepard? Human casualties will be very high if you send your fleet in now.
This is bigger than humanity. Sovereign's a threat to every organic species in the galaxy.
True. That's why you can't waste reinforcements trying to save the Council. You must hold them back until the Citadel arms open up and the human fleet can go after Sovereign.
What's the order, Commander? Come in now to save the Ascension, or hold back?
Oh, there's like 3 of the options. There's concentrate on Sovereign, save the Council, let the Council die.
Opening the relays now, Joker. We need to save the Ascension no matter what the cost.
I hope the Council appreciates this.
Alliance ships, move in. Save the Destiny Ascension.
Commander, we're picking up reinforcements. It's the Alliance. Thank the goddess.
There might be another stage.
You are all clear. Repeat, you are all clear.
The Citadel's opening. All ships move in. Concentrate on Sovereign.
Make sure he's dead.
You do a double tap.
He's dead.
Check his pulse. He's given up a cycle of reincarnation.
I am sovereign, and this station is mine.
Okay, so we still have a second phase, but I think it literally is. I might be wrong, like, but I'm pretty sure I'm right. There is, I think it allows you to skip the first stage of the boss fight, actually, not the second stage. You can basically convince Saren to kill himself. But in order to do so, you must either be, like, highly renegade, or like nearly max renegade or max paragon. And actually, I'm nearly even. Bullshit. I have max charm, max intimidate. So, like, the game, if I were designing this game, there would be like maybe, I don't know, something of fatality, or like, if you max out your charm and intimidate, then what options you have to persuade him will depend on your Paragon and Renegade status, but won't completely lock you out from an option. So there could be a pure Paragon or a like max Paragon option, max Renegade option, and then kind of a failing that, if you haven't maxed out your Paragon or Renegade, you'll get a, or if they're like almost like nearly even, which is kind of where we are here. And I wasn't even aiming for that. I guess aiming for something of a character arc. I mean, but of course we have a whole entire trilogy to give the character some more fleshing out and stuff, but yeah, because we have like, I don't know, we're five like little slivers away from maxing out Renegade, and we're about like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 slivers away from maxing out Paragon. So we're definitely more Renegade than we are Paragon by far. We didn't max out Renegade, therefore we're being penalized by BioWare for making our character more dynamic. Not committing fully to one or the other. I mean, granted, hats off to them for not making it like a slider. That goes one way or the other. But still, like, there's a degree to which you have Paragon choices, you have Renegade choices, and if you're making a little bit of both, you're not going to max out one or the other. So that's where we are, and we're being penalized for that, and I do not like it. Like, I was role-playing like all the way through. Like, granted, there were moments where it would be a little bit arbitrary that like she wasn't T Renegade, but yeah, this rubs me the wrong way a whole lot. Granted, the first stage of the boss fight was dead easy, maybe because I'm playing this on easy, but still, I hate that I wasn't given the opportunity to do that because I wasn't Renegade or Paragon enough. Like, either, whichever one you have more points in is the option that you'll be given. If your Charm and Intimidate are high enough. Or you maybe have a middle ground option. You know, if you're like within so many units of being exactly equal. Or I don't know. Like, there's gotta be a better way than this. I mean, it is, like, I guess, feasibly possible that if I made a few less Paragon choices, I would still have points in Paragon, but I have enough points in Renegade to max it out. We're not really fighting Sarah now anymore. We're fighting. Okay, I think he has a way to just make us overheat our weapons even when. Okay.
Its shields are down. Now's our chance.
Hit it with everything we got.
Guard on my flank. We're going in.
Go!
Captain Anderson, we found them. They're in here.
Take it easy. It's over. You're safe now. Where's the commander?
Yep. Came this far just to be killed by a random piece of debris. A heroic sacrifice to... wait, what was the point of a sacrifice? Doesn't seem thematically appropriate. Of course we didn't die. That'd be Captain Kirk being killed on a random bridge. What kind of idiot would do that?
Ambassador, Captain, Commander Shepard. We have gathered here to recognize the enormous contributions of the Alliance forces in the war against Sovereign and the Geth.
Many humans lost their lives in the battle to save the Citadel. Brave and courageous soldiers who willingly gave their lives so that we, the Council, might live.
There is no greater sacrifice, and we share your grief over the tragic loss of so many noble men and women.
The Council also owes you a great personal debt, Commander, one we can never repay. By defeating Sovereign, you have saved billions of lives. You have the courage of your convictions and a ruthless determination to succeed. Through your actions, you have become a symbol of everything humanity represents.
Your species has an indomitable will, a fierce, savage spirit that will not bend or yield. We used to believe this made humans stubborn, even dangerous.
But now we understand that these traits are what make you strong. There are dark times ahead. The Council needs humanity and its strength.
As the Alliance Ambassador, I accept your offer. Humanity will join its strength to yours. We will take our seat on the Council.
We will need a list of potential candidates.
Given all that has happened, I am sure your recommendation will carry a great deal of weight, Commander. Do you support any particular candidate?
We need someone with the courage to stand up for what he believes in. Someone like Captain Anderson.
Him? You must be joking. Anderson prefers to let his fists do the talking.
Only with you, Ambassador. Only with you.
Are you sure about this, Commander? The captain's a soldier, not a politician.
We've already got too many politicians on the Citadel. The captain would be perfect for this job.
The shadow of war darkens our future. Selecting someone with military experience is a wise choice.
I'm honored, Counselor. As humanity's representative, I'll do everything in my power to help the Council rebuild.
The battle with Sovereign destroyed our illusions of peace and security. Now the galaxy will look to us, the Council, to defend them.
We're not ready.
Sovereign was only a vanguard. The Reaper fleet is still coming. Hundreds of ships, maybe thousands, and I'm gonna find some way to stop them.
Only Vanguard, and I should know. I'm a Vanguard.
Shepard's right. We're on the verge of a war with an enemy unlike any the galaxy has ever known. A war for the very survival of all life as we know it. Humanity is ready to do its part. We will not back down. We will not surrender. We will lead you into battle against the Reapers, and we will drive them back into dark space.
Oh, we got the red ending. This song is actually, I like the song so much I actually bought it on iTunes some time ago. I don't know if I still have it actually. Maybe before iTunes like tracked purchases and allowed you to like restore them. I'm not sure if this is gonna get a content ID claim or not. Hopefully not. Just so that I don't have to have like ads playing on this when I'm not gonna be running out of their way. So I wonder if that like red hue is because I had more Paragon than Renegade. Or more Renegade than Paragon. Excuse me. That's the only reward for getting more Paragon than Renegade. Unless you max it out, then you get to make Saren kill himself. This feels very 80s. Which is why I like it. So as far as what we're going to do with Xander's Shepard's character in Mass Effect 2, well, you'll have to see. I'm going to try and keep it maybe a little more under wraps than I did this time around. Although I like talking about the character development so much that I don't know. As far as which mods I'll be using, I have no idea. I'm good. Like tonight, I'm going to be spending most of my time researching and downloading whichever mods I feel are gonna best enhance the experience. Yeah, Mass Effect 2 is definitely the pinnacle. I wish I started playing Mass Effect 2 right away, but you know, I don't get paid until tomorrow, and I hope I have enough to like buy the DLC immediately. So I want to definitely have all the DLC in place. I have I have a few of the DLCs, but like not enough that like the buying a DLC pass would be you know, worth it. Like it would cost more to buy the remaining DLCs than it would be to buy the DLC pack altogether. So I kind of might as well. Dude, Dwight Schultz did some voice work. Kind of surprised that he didn't like get a bigger role in this. Like maybe Mass Effect 2 he'll play like he'll get some other roles or like some actual significant voice roles, because come on, give a bigger role to Commander Broccoli or Lieutenant Broccoli. I don't know, maybe he became Commander by the time. I don't know if he ever became a commander. Probably not. Almost possible. I haven't watched Voyager recently, so. This game is pretty great. It's not as good as a sequel, but it's narratively speaking, it's not as bad as Mass Effect 3. Although Mass Effect has its own strengths, I mean, it's like gameplay wise, but like the narrative, I'll say it has a better ending. By far. I should maybe still say I could make a whole spiel about everything, but I kind of, you know, did that throughout. I don't know, I said just going back to the idea of this potentially like, adapt this into a TV show or a movie, probably a TV show, like Netflix series or something. Like, I think that, I don't know, I probably would try to do a little bit more with just the idea of it being a character arc, but I never like had a completely abandoned being renegade. You know, because I mean the idea is that it's always gonna be kind of there, you know, to some extent, and of course this is the start of the trilogy, so we can't expect her to like go full Paragon or have a complete 180 turn, and it wouldn't even be realistic because people don't work that way. Like they don't start as one thing and become something entirely different. They evolve, they grow, their experiences shape them. But you know, she still kind of understands the renegade mentality and has that to some extent. But she's also very much Paragon. Like she kind of, like she's just like too, like tabs or whatever away from being exactly even. Like one last tab of Renegade and one more tab of Paragon, and it would have been dead even. I think it autosaved the. This is my first time actually beating Mass Effect legitimately, without any cheat codes. Just play with the aim assist and the easy mode. Let's go for loading career. Just quick save. I imagine that that there's just like a clear, like literally a clear save. I don't think I have much more to say. I'm really looking forward to Mass Effect 2. I'm tempted to just check my bank account. Okay, like has something not taken out yet, and I don't know. Cause I don't really have anything else left to do this evening, so I'd rather kind of go into Mass Effect 2. But I don't know. We'll have to see. Like I probably will have to wait until tomorrow. Like chances are. So maybe I might find something else to stream. I don't know. Like I don't want to really get started with anything that I'm not gonna follow through with. Of course, I need to look up Mass Effect 2, you know, stuff I could add, and plenty of other things to do besides playing video games. Anyway, let's just go to our. Well, let's exit the game and go to our wall of patrons quick. Our wall of patron. Eric Van, thank you for the $10 contribution. Of course, you other people can also become a patron, or you find out perks and stuff. We only so far we just have mainly one, but you know, for a limited time, I might actually add this to the Patreon page. Any patron either will get some kind of shout out at least the first time, for the first time they contribute. So for more information, just go to patreon.com/pixelsplays. But of course, there's all other sorts of things you can do that just take a few seconds of your time. You can just do all those things. There's some of those things. But we also have a Facebook page that is updated a lot more often than my Twitter ever was. So I since I've been forced to reset everything after my hard drive my external hard drive malfunctioned, I've taken the opportunity to just dish the Twitter thing altogether. Use it more for communication with other people on Twitter than to actually like post updates. And since YouTube has stopped doing auto updates, I just not using it much anymore. I wasn't really using that much in the first place, like voluntarily. So, but anyway, Facebook's a little better than that. But in any case, thanks for watching, and until next time, sayonara. I can't do that. I can't really do the drift. If I had a hardwood floor, I could totally do that. Sayonara.